Hello, my name is Dr. Christopher Nagy, and I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the Burlington County Institute of Technology and Burlington County Special Services School Districts. Today's Leadership Spark is entitled The Physics of a Leadership Audit. In a recent presentation at the 75th anniversary of the University of Pennsylvania's Graduate School of Education Leadership Council, curriculum guru Heidi Hayes Jacobs introduced a challenge to the leaders present when looking at the classroom, learning, and educational spaces in which one works, learns, and creates. She referred to two premises in physics to support her comments. We all have heard some version or derivation of the phrase by Gestalt psychologist Kurt Kafka, who's attributed with the concept of the whole is something else than the sum of its parts, which speaks to how our mind perceives patterns when presented with a stimulus. The second is a principle used by 20th century architects in industrial design, which essentially states that form follows function, or simply said, the structure of an object or building should primarily relate to its intended purpose. We may find ourselves in buildings or rooms that no longer reflect the current way to learn or work, from how we teach to how we design the learning spaces in which we work. This leads me to think about leadership and the application of the same two physics principles to leaders. Is the whole something else than the sum of its parts? And does form follow function? Leadership is innate, learned, modeled, circumstantial, sacrificial, fortuitous, gratuitous, selfless, and earned. Great leaders are well served to actively engage in a leadership audit from time to time to check one's personal compass, namely, what is going well and what aspects are in need of improvement. To get to this answer, I went to the article from Forbes magazine Coaches Council that in October 2017, the edition of the same magazine, introduced an idea of conducting a leadership audit. They enlisted 15 council members to share their one question of which they feel that leaders should be asking of themselves. Here are the 15. When did I last look in the mirror? It speaks to accountability, creativity, and innovation. Where are my blind spots? No leader knows everything. Am I being the change I want to see? Gandhi's, be that change you wish to see in the world. It focuses on clarity and impact. What are my reactive triggers? What are the reactive tendencies we have and corresponding strengths? Who do I need to get feedback from? Relationships and looking to others introduces vulnerability and teamwork and connectedness. Number 6, what don't I know that I need to know? I ask this question all the time of my teams. Leading upward and building capacity and complementarity builds strong teams. How well do I listen and connect with others? Active listening and feedback are essential. Have I made an impact? Is what you are doing working or not? Am I focused on my number one goal? In other words, where do I spend my time, and is it on the number one goal? Number 10, am I growing as a leader? Take a 360-degree assessment of oneself and the team. Is my axe sharpened? Leaders can get dull. They need to be lifelong learners and stimulated so as to be more productive. 12, how do unconscious biases impact my decisions? What is hindering my best decision making? What do I get paid to do? To be a leader. Number 14, what fears am I not facing? Face them head on and hold yourself accountable. 15, am I pushing or pulling? Pushing info out or pulling info in from team members and their aspirations creates buy-in. In the Physics of Leadership article by Richard Shrapnel, he narrows that list of 15 to one essential question that leaders should ask of themselves. Why do I want to be a leader? It is a question of motive and speaks to the quality of the leadership. The right motive will naturally create harmony and give rise to a strong centripetal energy, and therefore leadership influence will be a result. In that same article, Shrapnel is quoted as saying, "The ability of a leader to attract the centripetal force underpinning anyone's leadership and to achieve that harmony that determines the quality of their influence turns upon their very motive of being a leader. An exemplary leader is not determined by the technical competencies they possess, but by their personal strengths and weaknesses. Last, according to Shrapnel, the energy generated by a leader's individual centripetal authority is not unlimited, and it does weaken the further person is away from its source. Thus, the need for a leadership team that supports the mission, vision, and goals for the organization. In the end, there are different types of leaders and different degrees of effectiveness. There is much behind a successful leader and the centripetal force around the leadership and the accompanying harmony which determines whether the whole is something else other than the sum of its parts, and whether the leadership promotes a structure where form follows function. Some questions to ponder. To what extent is John Maxwell's highest level of leadership, level 5, evident, namely, leadership held by someone who people follow because of who they are and what they represent? Jim Collins once said that the highest level of leadership builds enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will. Do you see these as essential elements of leadership, and why? When was the last time you did a leadership audit? Was there a change since the last time, and why? And last, what are the factors that influence leadership today and making it that much more challenging?